Hey everyone, welcome back to the Intelligent Conversations podcast. Today I have the honor to learn from Karen Mendoza. Karen is the VP of Sales at D-Box Technologies, which is the world leader in haptics and immersive motion technology. Karen immigrated here to the US and is living the American dream. So, Karen, thank you for coming on today. I appreciate you taking the time to come onto the show today. But I'm going to start with a question. Kind of, if you could share your story, what was like your initial draw to kind of go down that career path? And I mean, I'm sure you're going to mention it, but you've worked for some pretty incredible companies as well. But kind of what was the starting point for you?
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Great to be here. Can't wait for this conversation we're about to have here. My starting point, I guess, in my career journey happened when my family and I immigrated from my birth country of the Philippines, Southeast Asia, for those who in your audience who don't know. And we immigrated to San Francisco. And I've been, this is where we reside, and we've been here for over 40 years. And I'm really proud to and blessed to have gone through the American public school system, in public schools, middle school, high school, all of that, and even college. I went to University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. Yeah. Go Bruin fans! So I went to college. I got my undergraduate in economics at UCLA. And while at UCLA, I got to be an intern. I started an internship program at Fox, 20th Century Fox, when they great studio lot.
When was this around? Like what time period?
This was late 1990s, so 97, 98. It was right around, I joined Fox right when they were just releasing Titanic. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And the division that I got to work for at Fox was the Fox Interactive and Fox Sports Interactive. Back then in the late 1990s, interactive divisions were about video games. So it was a bit of an incubator startup division for Fox. They put it under the home entertainment category. And it was just really started out 30 people, mostly developers and producers, managing these big Fox licenses like Titanic, like X-Files, like Buffy the Vampire. This is really old stuff. So for your audience who's got younger generation, you may not hear of this, but I got to work on some of the most iconic brands of Fox, like Aliens versus Predator, Simpsons Wrestling, Die Hard trilogy that came out on PlayStation, original PlayStation. We did a very cute alligator or crocodile game called Croc 1 and 2, and that was really fun. But Titanic, huge movie, right? Fox. We got to work on a PC simulation game for that. And so that was super fun because some of the props from the movie was still in some of the sound stages on the lot. So I got to, being an intern, I got to do all sorts of different jobs and different the dirty work, right? Hey, go hand deliver this to that VP and go bring lunch to this producer and go. But mostly my role at Fox and Fox Sports Interactive, because they also had the Fox Sports division, was mostly in public relations. I was a PR assistant and a PR intern. So I was answering, and this was prior to any of the social media, prior to any Reddits and forum and Discord forums. It was all email to say, hey, I'm stuck on X-Files game. Can you give me any hints around how to get through this game? So that was my first sort of job out of college. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the entertainment industry. At that point, Josh, it was just the start of this whole console gaming revolution, right? With Sega Dreamcast. Nintendo was kind of
Really?
just at the N64 stage here, and then Sony came out with the PlayStation. So that was super exciting. And one of the other favorite memories I have of my first internship and first job out of college was working the Billboard Music Awards. We set up a media lounge for all the, rappers and pop stars going to Billboard Music Awards, and we set up like an NBA basketball tournament using our video game. So that was super fun. And my glamorous life when I was single, now I've got a husband and kids that
I bet it's still glamorous, don't it?
I know. So that was really the starting point, and ever since I've such enjoyed the gaming, the video gaming aspect, and just the entertainment and consumer tech space and that whole world, because super fun and entertaining.
I agree. It is a fun, and if anything, I would say the whole video game industry. I mean, just to kind of give you reference, I was born probably around when all that stuff was going on, and I kind of got to see it all just kind of develop to what it is today. And it's like the video games that we see today, it's like, I didn't even envision this. So I'm kind of curious. So now you went and worked at Nintendo for over a decade, if I'm correct.
That's right, 15 years.
Oh, there you go. That's fun. What was the coolest project you worked on there?
Oh, so many. You got to imagine that in 15 years, at a company, which is rare these days, right? And especially with the hybrid work, remote work, and all of this, I think grew up and matured my professionalism at Nintendo. And what a great family and trusted, globally brand trusted company to have really formulated my business mindset. But some of the most memorable moments I had at Nintendo, gosh, so many. I think the launch of the Nintendo Wii in 2006 was really high up there, because Nintendo, they are whenever the cycle of launching new game systems is usually around 5 to 7 years. That's
crazy.
That's a cycle. It's sometimes longer now. Like PS2, PlayStation 2 was one of the longer running ones because of the fact that they had backwards compatibility and kind of the DVD player or Blu-ray player.
Yes, I remember that.
Added that into the functionality feature set, right? And for me, the launch of Nintendo Wii was so critical because it blended. I joined Nintendo when they launched. I joined Nintendo in 2001 when they launched GameCube. So it was the successor to N64, and GameCube in the purple box or the black box, right? It was still very much. It's known to be more toy-like, and the games that we had for it was Luigi's Mansion, and there was a basketball game that Kobe Bryant, I think, we had on the cover.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember it, but
the names slip in my mind too.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
But anyways, that's when I joined the company, and I saw it, and even the portable business side of Nintendo, where with DS, 3DS, 3DS XL, Game Boy Micro, all of these. I got a chance to see all of those great product launches from a systems, and then of course all the games that we launched. But Nintendo Wii was super different because we knew that it was such a different mindset shift from the regular wired controllers or even wireless controllers. We took all of our learnings from the portable business and how people wanted to travel or with it. And you can see some of this sort of product development being incorporated in our current, in Nintendo's current with the Nintendo Switch. It's that portable. But with Wii, the most revolutionary thing was that the Wii remotes, right? The Wiimotes.
Yes.
And that, what I learned and what was most memorable was the truly observing the patterns of play or consumer behavior of how they engage and be entertained with content or with a game or with watching. And if you really look at the Wii remote, it's absolutely based on TV remote aspect and the ease of use of the controller. But now when you put the gyroscope and the sort of the vibration mode in there, now you have this sort of freedom of control in all degrees of freedom, right? For movement that completely revolutionized the gaming industry. That was a really memorable moment.
Oh, I bet. Exactly. And kind of on that note too, for reference, I think we still have a Wii as well.
Good.
But,
keep it. It's worth a lot.
Probably will. But I remember even just with, my siblings, we'd play Wii Sports Resort. We would play Lego Star Wars. Like, you'd actually feel like you're using the lightsaber. Yes. It's like, this is crazy. And for that time period, it's like, it was so revolutionary. So now, right, fast forward, it's been a while.
Right.
What's kind of happening now? So how are we immersing ourselves even further?
Oh, well, what I'm super excited about is this crossover effect in gaming going into movies and TV shows and becoming even more of a brand and franchise extension to any company, and even a global player like Nintendo. Of course, they want you to be a repeat buyer and for you to have and generate fandom of their lovable characters, right? The Mario, the Luigi, the Pikachu, Splatoon, one of my favorite Nintendo games. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm not.
Splatoon, it's like a paintballing game. You got to check it out, Josh. Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Paintballing game, first-person shooter, but in the most friendliest aspect way. So brand extension and even just, because Nintendo, they try to get you at the young age, right? Yeah. 6, 7, and then they hook you into enjoying all of the great games. And then when you're older, and I see the cycle of like parents who were gaming on Nintendo when they were younger. They're now letting their their children involved in it. And I love to see that multi-generational customer base. Nintendo is amazing at it. And the fact that now Nintendo has the movie that came out earlier this year in April, that was a D-Box movie, D-Box Encoded. We'll get into D-Box and what I'm doing for them. And then also the activation of the partnership with Universal Studios. They're now in theme parks in Osaka, Universal Osaka, Universal Hollywood. They've got the Super Mario or Super Nintendo Land, I think is there. So I remember hearing about this strategy of how they're going to increase the fans of Nintendo worldwide. And they're just now executing on all of those plans. And I'm super glad to see it. So
and their timing is impeccable as well. Like, they seem to always time things perfectly. Like the release of the Switch was it was right after all, like all the Xbox PS4 wars or whatever, but it was perfectly like inserted right in there. And to even support your statement about timing is everything. Not that nobody ever planned the pandemic, right? March of 2020, but right around there, Nintendo was about to launch Animal Crossing, the latest version on the console, Animal Crossing, in 2020. And when the world was locked down, oh man, Animal Crossing sales shot up because nobody could go anywhere. And so they could only visit each other's islands, virtual islands in Animal Crossing. So hats off to them that they stuck with their plans. I mean, it's just sometimes you get lucky in the timing, and other times when
that there's something happening in the external environment, if there's a way as a business to pivot, to time it right, then you make those decisions. And I think Nintendo has done a very, very good job timing things in the market correctly. So good for them for that.
No, they 100% they have. So you worked at Nintendo for a while.
Yes.
How did you transition then to D-Box? Like, what was kind of, you're like, you know what, I need to change. I need to try something different.
Yeah, well, so it took me 2 steps to get to D-Box. So first of all, it was one of my most, in my career, one of the toughest decisions to make was to leave Nintendo. My family was like, my kids were against it. They're like, Mom, please stay, because we get, exposure to all kinds of Nintendo. But at the same time, I was finding myself wanting a more entrepreneurial venture. But I knew I couldn't do this on my own because I was so clued into the structure of a bigger corporation like Nintendo of America. And so I joined in 2019. So 1 year before the pandemic, I joined one of Nintendo's loyal partner agencies, which was called Game Truck Licensing. We have Game Truck operating in the USA with, there's about 100 Game Truck trailers that advertise on a rolling billboard, if you will, Nintendo games, because they've been a Nintendo partner. Mm-hmm. And inside this Game Truck is access to all the latest consoles and latest games and they book most of so Game Truck, what impressed me about them, Josh, was that they've been around for about 15 years, and they do 30,000 events per year, okay, with the 100 trucks and trailers across the country. These are 2-hour birthday parties. Usually 80% of the business is done direct to consumer. So birthday parties, graduations, all of that. 2-hour parties for anywhere from $450 to $550, depending on the market, depending on what that game.
So just kind of a quick question. So this business, it's direct to consumer, so they can kind of try out the latest consoles or games that haven't been released yet, or is it?
No, it's in the market. It's not, it's not beta testing, although that's a great idea. I should make a note of that for them.
Well,
early access. Yeah.
You're welcome. And then they're traveling all across the country, and they're in all 50 states.
Yeah. So anywhere there's an NFL stadium, that market, right? There's a Game Truck operator there. And so so I think is it 32 markets, 32 states that we're in, because we're not in all the 50 states. I don't think we have a Game Truck in Alaska, although that would be interesting if we did. Might have to be like a game forklift or something because of terrain. But so they do 30,000 all combined as a franchise. We run it as a franchise business. So we have franchise owners all around. And but we also, so imagine this live entertainment sort of party business, party company. But when the pandemic happened, 2020, it could have absolutely disseminated and terminated our business, but we didn't, right? We had, you hear these sort of survival stories from businesses about the pandemic, and it was definitely a chance for Game Truck to explore other business ideas, right? There were a lot of pivoting from businesses happened. For Game Truck, it was starting esports. We called it Bravest Esports. And esports, as I'm sure, Josh, you're aware, online competitive video gaming.
Love that stuff.
Game Truck was already starting to push out our esports initiative, but it was what our angle was back then before the pandemic was in-person esports teams. It was about for younger players because a lot of the game truck profile is 6-year-old to 12-year-old birthday parties. So we had already a captive audience who wanted to continue doing gaming, maybe as a career or as a professional, esports athlete, gamer. Pandemic happens, so we couldn't really execute the in-person esports, but hello, esports is great online. So during the pandemic, we did 1,000, I want to say over 800 online esports games with colleges and universities across the country. Because of our reputation as Game Truck, well-known brand in the U.S., Game Truck can now offer your college and university students who we were working with all the student engagement directors at universities. They push them off campus, out of the dorms so that they can scrub it down and, lockdown of pandemic. But yet they were so motivated to keep these students engaged. So how do you keep a group of college students engaged? Run some Smash tournaments and run some Fortnite and FIFA and Call of Duty tournaments. And we did that. And this was during Fall Guys. I don't know if you know that game, but Fall
Very
Guys is super fun to watch. Among Us was another one that we did. But yeah, we ran all sorts of tournaments, online tournaments. And then as the world started opening back up, then they were booking Game Truck live parties so that we can get back on the campuses, get back in homes. And now, that was one of the toughest, most challenging parts of my career journey was, how do we get a live events company to survive through the pandemic? Well, esports, timing for our esports tournaments was on point. So we did that. And how I'll wrap it up, Josh, with how I got to D-Box was at the end of 2022, I was recruited by D-Box. They saw my career history of Nintendo and consumer products and experiential marketing with this live events with Game Truck and what I was doing with the esports side of the business. And D-Box, we had an initiative around to get into gaming with our immersive motion technology. So they asked me to be their VP of sales, and that's what I'm trying to do for D-Box now, is to help get them into all sorts of new markets and new industries.
That is so cool. I love that. So I really do want to get into the D-Box and all that, but just a little question that came to me. So you said that you kind of expose with your trucks that you mainly expose that 6 to 12-year-old audience because they love video games.
Oh yeah.
But I love that you said that you kind of give them like career pathway options. Can you kind of go into that a little bit more? Like how do you kind of like show them, hey, these are kind of some potential avenues, and kind of get them excited to be like, oh, I can pursue a career in this.
Yes. So I'll answer your question by saying that the Game Truck team has an amazing visionary founder, Scott Novus. He would be a great guest for your show at some point. Scott Novus, his story is he's an engineer by trade, and our paths crossed when he was at Rainbow Studios and I was at Fox, and we were working on a game together. But he has this gaming engineering background, but he also, for his family, was a Little League coach for many, many years. And so the esports idea for Game Truck, when they thought of that, even prior to my arrival in 2019, they've been thinking about that since 2015, 2016, Game Truck team. And the premise was all about youth esports, gaming together, gaming in person, all because of our observations, the Game Truck team's observations of what happens and the dynamics on the truck, inside the truck, and the collaboration that happens, the competition that happens, and how they settle the debate or the battle in the game and not with each other physically, but in the game. Like there's so many just magical moments that we saw inside the game truck that we said, why are we only doing this for 2 hours of their time? Why this should be a 2-month program for those kids who want to keep doing this and get better at a game and maybe even, succeed in the tournament route. So that's what we were trying to do when I came on was to do a youth esports programs. We were starting to partner with parks and recreation departments all around the country, again, utilizing our game truck network to say we're a trusted brand. We've been around for 15 years, but we're starting this esports initiative. And I think your audience, the people and who pays for parks and recs programs, they would be a perfect fit for our youth esports programs. And we had in Phoenix, in the Phoenix market, we had a couple of partnerships there with some parks and recs programs. So that career pathway, always an important aspect. And I think now Game Truck's business is mostly focused on entertainment and direct-to-consumer birthday party reservations, corporate party reservations. But in the back of their mind, there's also this other avenue of, esports. It's a little bit lesser prioritized, but it's there. It's there if we ever need to activate it again.
And it's so cool that you keep your options open as well. I think that's critical. And if anything, it shows that how many opportunities there are. Like sometimes we get so focused on, I need to do it this way. I'm like, no. Sometimes you need to just open your eyes a little bit and be like, let's try this.
Widen the lens, right? Widen the lens and see what's actually out there. And again, you heard me talk about it in my Nintendo days and then Game Truck, but observing what is the market trends, what is the consumer asking for, how are they behaving with engaging with this type of new form of entertainment, or how, I think it's super important in this day and age today about how society works together or collaborates or cooperates together. And gaming is one of those currency points that is like multi-generational. Most generations can enjoy gaming, even the 8-bit gaming to now immersive gaming that we're trying to do at D-Box Technologies, right? Yeah. Which is more complicated. But
yeah, so could you kind of dive into that? Because when I started looking into that, I'm like immersive. So my initial thought was VR, but then I saw that you also have these chairs that, correct me if I'm wrong, that move as you're either like in gaming, if you're gaming, while you're gaming, or also if you're in a movie, the chair moves like you're physically in the movie.
That's right. You have it right. We D-Box Technologies, the company I work for now, this is the year that we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. So we've been at this sort of game and this business for 25 years. We really started in the cinema business, where you're absolutely right, Josh. Usually it's action adventures movies or horror, the jump scares, right? Yeah. The jump scare movies. Smile was a great movie for us, and some other movies. So for a 2-hour movie, the D-Box action in our motion activated cinema seats that we install, it's really only about 30 minutes of pure intense action. And when I say intense, on all of our D-Box cinema seats, there's an intensity meter that the individual can adjust. So I've heard it from many different friends and family who like to tell me, hey, Karen, I've got vertigo. I don't like your motion activated seats. No problem. You can just turn it off, right? But you can sit with your family and enjoy the movie without the motion. But it does allow the viewer, the audience members, to really stay engaged and get entertained. It's a different form of entertainment. It's not as intense as like a roller coaster, unless you really maximize the intensity. Then you can have that. But yeah, we're getting a lot of great success. And last year when I started in D-Box, we came out with Top Gun Maverick, which was one of the most ideal,
Yeah.
movies for the type of technology we have. And then even Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, that was released last
Yes.
December, was an amazing movie for us because in our motion technology and the actuators, the physical hardware actuators that we're embedding into our cinema seats, there's ways that we program the content of what you see on the screen can make it be a more floating feeling. Like, so when you're swimming in the water, you can make it feel like you're swimming in the water without getting motion sickness, because what we've done a lot of scientific research and worked with universities in Canada and engineering firms in Canada to make sure that we're truly adding value to the entertainment of it, right? And what we know is that sitting in D-Box seats while you're watching a movie or while you're playing a game, that motion of seeing it, hearing it, and feeling it will reduce your motion sickness. As an example, in VR, if all you are doing is seeing it and hearing it, but yet you have to actively move your body there's more motion sickness in VR without sort of the mind trick of like, hey, you're actually feeling like you're in a fighter jet,
Exactly.
something like that. So this scientific research is what kind of impressed me about D-Box, the company, because it's not just another gimmick of like, oh, okay, new technology for entertainment spaces. It's actually rooted in and based on, we can actually, really make this valuable to certain key segments of the market. Motorsports and F1 and NASCAR is one of these segments that love our product because of the realism of practicing like you're in a real race car and on a race and a real track without having to pay the $50,000 fees a day to be on an actual racetrack. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
I know exactly that's so cool, and it makes sense in my head. So like, the difference between VR and then what you're talking about is with VR you don't get any like so where I'm looking for, like feelings like if you're physically moving.
right.
So like, let's say for example the VR, I'm a fan like basketball, Star Wars. Let's say I'm playing basketball in VR. Would I actually be moving my hand, or would like it be given a sensation of, oh, you're moving your hand, but I'm really just... So
in gaming, Josh, I will pivot here because for D-Box, this was the year that we launched our first D-Box and Cooler Master gaming chair. Cooler Master is a company based in Taipei, Taiwan, who is a worldwide one of the market leaders in PC peripherals and cooling fans and cases and whatnot. But we worked with them on developing together this new haptic gaming chair. It's called Motion One, and it's available for pre-order right now worldwide. And what happens is, just like our cinema active seats, a gamer can sit on this, can purchase this for his or her home or her office and gaming space, sit on it, and with our encoding, D-Box encoding technology, we can take a game, listen to the audio track, start to map out where the motion and the vibration and the texture feeling to make the chair it basically, and now that I'm thinking about this out loud, it's almost like the rumble feature in a controller. Mm-hmm. We've now extended it to a rumble feature in a chair, but there's motion too. In a controller, it's your hands that are moving the controller. In our haptic gaming chair, it's the action on the screen and the mapping of your controllers that will generate the motion and the vibration in the chair. So it's this very proprietary technology that our engineers at D-Box, over the 25 years of our expertise, we now know how to take, like, let's say an explosion in a game can elicit or execute a very realistic explosion-like feeling on the chair. And so this is happening now, and we're getting a lot of excitement from a lot of the thought leaders in the gaming industry, because we're kind of creating and trailblazing our own trail here with haptics and immersive motion in gaming. And so we're excited about that.
That's so cool. I think that's really cool. So I'm going to use this as the intelligent question of the day.
Okay.
And one thing, and this is, I think what you're doing is, I think it's so cool. But one, on the other end of things, people may look at this and they might say, wait, like, you're telling me now people will just be sitting in chairs and playing video games all day? Like, shouldn't they go be doing something more productive with their lives? I'm kind of curious, what are your thoughts on that? Because sometimes the gaming industry gets, you need your business, you need to succeed.
Yes.
But at the same time, is it better for society?
Yeah. Oh, there's an intelligent question. Is it better for society? To me, everything in moderation, right? Even gaming in moderation. And I happen to be a great fan of this industry and this, I promoted a lot of products and sold a lot of products in the gaming industry. But I also realize, I think I'm a responsible parent of two young kids, teenagers in my house. and so to me, it is, I think there's a part where gaming is a form of entertainment for a lot of people, a form of escapism for a lot of people. Even for my husband, he plays a lot of FIFA and Madden at home. And to me, that's an instant signal that it's a stress reliever, right? He doesn't want to really talk to anybody except for the players on his field or whatever, so there's this aspect of gaming can be good if managed and moderated correctly. I think that societal challenges we have is about, I said it before, always about collaboration, cooperation, how we, work together as a community and as a society, right? And there are challenges. I won't get into the politics of everything, but I do feel like gaming and movie going and sim racing, all these forms of entertainment that D-Box has been focused on, there's an aspect of it that it's very unifying, right? Because it could be a very social activity. There's another, so while I'm focused on entertainment, I'm also personally focused on the educational aspect of it, because there's really, really fun gaming and entertainment going, but there's really the serious gaming side of it, the military aspect, the VR and the haptic aspect that we can train for heavy machinery training programs or professional simulation and all of this. And I think that's exciting work as well, and important work for society. Right. So the things that young gamers are learning with executive decision making in game in real time, the reflexes, the cooperation, as well as competition, helps for life skills just in general, So I always like to tell either parents or businesses or lawmakers who are just so anti too much gaming and too much screen play or even social media. Well, if we moderate it properly, as starts in the home and it starts in the community that we live in, neighbors and all of friends and family. But as a society, I think if it's moderated properly, gaming can be good for society.
There you go. That's the intelligent answer of the day. I love that. And I agree, because I have a younger brother and he's obsessed with Fortnite, and he loves that all the time. And I've had people that are like a little bit concerned, like, oh, he's playing that quite a bit. I'm like, dude, you know how often those guys are trash talking each other, and I'm like, it teaches you to actually like interact with people and just kind of brush off, like if someone says something a little mean, you say, hey, that wasn't cool, man, and
That's
they're like,
right.
okay, like, and they'll step back and they realize, oh, I shouldn't have said that. But then on the other side, like, I love that you mentioned that competition, because that really, like, also it's like, oh, I gotta win. Because that's the point of the game, and it drives you towards this goal, this common goal, and you can set that goal
That's right.
yourself, and like you said, or for let's say educational purposes,
Right.
simulators, you can set that goal, like, hey, you need to do X amount, achieve this mission or achieve this goal, whatever it may be, and they can learn rather quickly, because
That's right.
that feel free to add on.
I'll add on by just saying, and you might, it's okay for you to judge me with what I'm about to say, but when I'm old in my senior citizen years and I'm retired from all the fun, exciting work that I'm doing, I hope to be able to join a senior citizen esports team, because that will be my social, competitive fun, and from the luxury of my own home in my own gaming setup, right? But yet, we all know that as we reach a certain age, Alzheimer's and all sorts of health problems. But if I'm equipped with a gaming PC and my haptic chair and a VR that can connect me to the rest of the world without leaving my home, but yet I'm still doing something very entertaining and fun and educational, probably. That's my dream, right? Is because you want to stay engaged with the society, and that's my way of staying engaged.
And I love that. That's so cool. And I mean, especially that last point where you said you'll be more connected with everyone. I mean, that's something all humans crave, is that connection with everything. And one last point I'll add, and then we can kind of get your information. I think also with everyone saying, oh, our attention spans, especially our generation, it's like your attention span's getting shorter. I'm like, no, it's just the technology hasn't caught up to our attention span.
That's right. Oh, well said. Well said.
So, well, thank you for coming on, Karen. I hate to wrap this up, but you've been awesome, and thank you for sharing all this.
Thank you.
So if people want to reach out to you, or D-Box, learn more about you, what's the best way that they can do that?
Yeah, find us, check out our website, and all of our socials will be there. It's D-Box, d-box.com. And then for me, to find me, I love to connect with your audience members or people who've seen me talk on podcasts. Find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, and I like connecting with people there. So just Karen Mendoza. You can either Karen Mendoza, search for my name and D-Box, or my name and Nintendo, and hopefully you'll find me there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on today, Karen. I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
Yes, Josh, thank you. It was super fun. Thank you.
All right, everyone. As you can tell, that is Karen Mendoza. She's a very intelligent person, has great things to share. I challenge you guys, if anything spoke to you, or if what D-Box is doing reached you guys, to go ahead and try it out. I'm sure they'd be happy to chat with you guys. Stay tuned till next week. We have a great guest lined up for you guys. See you guys next week, and let's get after it. Hey everyone, if you liked this episode and would like to hear more, be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button. We release a new episode every Wednesday for you guys to listen to. Thank you guys so much for the support that you give. We could not have done this without you guys. If you would like to be a potential guest on the show, check out intelligentconvos.com and fill out the form there. Thank you guys again, and let's get after it.